Welcome to the Bottom of the Stream movie show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome. It is episode 1 of season 7 of Bottom of the Stream.
Hooray!
Where, if this is your first time,
Welcome aboard.
let us explain what we do.
Talk us through the concept.
We are looking for the hidden gems lurking at the bottom of the stream on Netflix.
We certainly are.
And we'll pick a movie randomly every week.
Yep.
From our patented Robin the Randomizer.
Robin, who may or may not be male or female, we don't know.
Does it matter?
No.
She can be, sorry.
They can be whatever
she wants to be. And we talk about that movie.
Yep.
And we will place it at the end of the episode in the stream table, also patented.
So by the end of the season, we're 25 films down, and they're all league tabled up.
Yeah.
In order of how much we enjoyed them.
We crown one the top of the stream.
And we crown one.
Or the bottom of the stream, top of the stream. I don't think we've ever thought of that. Just the season winner.
Yeah.
And then we can see what is the worst of the worst.
What is the worst of the worst and what is best of the worst.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. So that's what we do. We've done 150 films so far. 6 seasons of Bottom of the Stream. Heading into a 4th year. So there's plenty to go back on if you want to listen
still
to
finding great
stuff.
movies. Still finding fucking terrible movies.
Absolutely. This is what we do best. If you want to go back and listen to any of the other episodes, you can. I would avoid season 1 because it sounds dreadful. But after that, we got good. And we got some nice equipment. And now we sound creamy in your ears.
Oh, lovely.
Well, I just said that. Made me feel a little bit dirty. I apologise. So, this week we have watched a film called Target. Target is going to be our first episode of this season. It's from 2018. It is a 12. It runs for 1 hour and 33 minutes and is currently rated at 3.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's low.
It is low.
I mean, when I think about some of the other movies that we've watched with that sort of IMDb rating.
Yeah. You're talking...
Bad.
Anything with Noah Centineo in. That sort of shit. Yeah, we're talking bad movies. And so we'll see. We'll see if the internet has got this wrong or if the internet has got this right. I haven't got a lot on the cast and crew of this film. We haven't mentioned this film's Indonesian. It was written and made in Indonesia. And
it was quite difficult. More difficult than you would imagine to find a trace of this movie.
It does not...
By doing a cursory Google search.
It does not have an internet presence, this movie. It has an IMDb page, which is very sparse. There's literally no information on there whatsoever. It doesn't have a Wikipedia.
As you can imagine, there's a few movies called Target.
Yes.
So you have to be quite specific on
to,
Google if you are looking for this movie.
You have to have got... To search for it on Netflix, you have to get to the G before it even comes up. So, yeah, it's literally lurking right at the bottom of the stream on this one. This film stars a guy called Raditya Ditka. He plays a character called Raditya Ditka because everybody in this film is playing themselves except for one person.
Yeah.
Raditya Ditka also wrote and directed this film.
Okay.
So it is his baby. The entire cast play themselves. Cinta Laurel Keel is the next one I've got written down. She plays Cinta Laurel Keel. She's German-Indonesian.
Yeah.
She's the main female character in this. But the only person who isn't playing themselves is a guy called Billy Chong.
Okay.
He plays Willie Dozan, or Wince, as he's known in the film.
That's his action
hero.
Alter ego.
So basically, these people in this film are all Indonesian celebrities.
Sure. There's like a stand-up comedian, there's a YouTuber.
There's a magician.
An action star. Yeah, it's sort of Darren Brown style magician.
Yeah. And then there's an action hero, which Billy Chong is. He's been in loads of films around the world. And he's the only one in this film, for some reason, didn't use his real name. Presumably because he's a proper actor.
And the premise of this is basically, I guess, if you were to compare it to here in the UK, it's like if, I don't know, Jedward and Anton Deck and...
You're putting Jedward and Anton Deck in the same band there?
No, but some TV personalities, a stand-up comedian, I don't know.
Michael McIntyre.
Yeah.
List off job titles and I'll give you the first one that comes in.
Okay, fine. All right. YouTuber.
Joe Sugg. It's the only one I know.
Stand-up comedian.
Michael McIntyre.
TV presenter.
I can't think of a single TV presenter. Kirsty Allsop.
Okay. Magician.
Darren Brown.
Soap star who left for movies.
Chris Hemsworth.
I think you've gone a bit
I've
big
gone a
there.
bit big there. What's that woman? What's that singer?
Danny Minogue.
Danny. That wasn't who I was thinking of, but we'll go with that.
Action star.
Low-level action star. I can't think of a low-level action star.
Scott Adkins.
Yep, Scott Adkins.
Right, all them
Basically,
people,
B-list celebrities.
yeah, are making a TV movie.
Yeah.
That's what this
That's
is.
the premise
This
of
is
this.
the
So
Indonesian.
These are real Indonesian celebrities playing themselves in a film where they've been called up to make a film called Target, and the film itself is called Target.
Remember when the BBC years ago, when we were kids, made Ghost Watch?
Very much.
And it
Do
was-
remember when people.
It's
made Ghost Watch.
it's kind of like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So Ghostwatch, for those who don't know, which would be most of our audience, was on in the early 90s?
I think so.
It was Sarah
quite
Green
controversial at
and
the
Mike
time, wasn't it?
Smith.
Yeah.
And
Michael
it was
Parkinson.
Was Parky in it?
Yeah.
Was he? And it was basically, we were live at a house somewhere, and we were trying to see real live ghost recordings, and it eventually turned out to all be completely fake.
Yeah, it was a scripted TV show. Starring, like, proper
But
TV
nobody
show.
nobody at the time knew that that's what it was. It's now got quite a cult following. If you can find it anywhere, it is actually quite good. I watched it probably about 10 years ago now.
Okay.
But it is. I think it's on YouTube.
Okay.
But yeah, it is that sort of thing. It's loads of celebrities got together. Do you remember they did the Big Brother one as well? Is it called Dead Set?
Oh, yes, yeah. I do
Where
remember. I
they're
think
like-
that's on Netflix.
I think it is on Netflix. Where I think it was Charlie Brooker wrote it, and loads of people did like a fake Big Brother that got overrun by zombies.
Yeah.
But they were celebrities playing themselves. It's that kind of idea, but these are all like Indonesian celebrities. Basically, all I've got on the
fine.
history of this film, because like we said earlier, it doesn't have any sort of internet presence. Do you have a one-word review of Target, Nick?
Funny Saw?
Funny Saw. Okay.
I mean, that's what it's going for,
That's
isn't it?
exactly what it's going for. It's what it is Saw 5. It's basically an absolute rip-off of Saw 5, written by Adam Sandler or Ben Stiller or somebody like that. It's a comedy version of Saw 5.
Yeah.
Because Saw 5 is, I don't know if you remember, but
Vaguely.
Saw 5 is the one where 5 people get put into a room, and then they have to win that game to get into the next room,
Sure.
and eventually it windows them down. That's what's happening in this film.
Yeah.
It's an absolute rip-off of Saw 5. I'm going to read the synopsis. I don't know why. It's something I feel like I should do more often. 9 people are forced to play a lethal game in which only one of them can survive after they become trapped in an empty building. The synopsis is even wrong.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
It's not true at all. There are 9 people. That's the only thing that's true in that synopsis.
The person who wrote that synopsis has not seen this film.
No, absolutely. We have though, so let's talk about it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Where does this film start, Nick?
What, before or after the insanely long credit sequence?
My first note is long credit sequence. It was a really long credit sequence, wasn't it?
Look, they're fine. They're kind of pop animation versions of the characters.
Yeah.
But it goes on for ages.
It was at least 5 minutes.
Yeah. And this is a short movie.
1:33.
Everyone in the credits is wearing a boiler suit with a target on the back.
For no apparent reason whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, it's not actually needed, is it?
Nope, it's
Really,
never
really.
mentioned. It's never even mentioned that they've got targets on their back.
After the really long credits,
Yeah.
this movie opens and there is a burnt man in hospital.
There's a man who's very much wrapped up in bandages.
Yeah,
It's like a mummy.
Head to toe.
Yeah. And he wakes up and he starts groaning.
He does.
And then
2 cops arrive and they're like, oh, the guy's dying.
yeah, shit, this man's dying. And they were calling people in. It wasn't dying, his nose was itchy.
Yeah.
We straight in, this is the level of humour you're getting. We know
I
straight
didn't
away.
think it was a bad opening joke. I didn't laugh, but I'm like, okay, this is what this is going to be.
Yes, I'd agree with that. It sets it stall out of this is the sort of humour you're getting. It wasn't funny, but this is prepared for the whole thing to not be funny.
The cops want this guy's story.
Yep, they want the full story of what's happened. So this is kind of like the end of the film.
Yeah. So this person is telling the cops what's happened to him.
There's no dub in this film, by the way. We should
No.
mention it is all subtitles. The subtitles are not great. I don't think it translates very well.
I agree, and I will make that point a couple of times through this movie. It's quite obvious the subtitles are rudimentary,
Yes, I would agree with that.
and unfortunately, I think that means the humour doesn't hit.
I think that's fair because the first line when this guy starts telling his story, he says, "It all started from a scenario."
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean anything. But then we
What
flash.
he means is a script.
Yes, it does mean script.
Yeah.
And then we flash back. So the rest of this movie now is a flashback. We cut back to that guy in the hospital bed a few times, but most of this film's now a flashback. There's 3 guys. They're all chatting. This is Dit. I'm not going to be good with names. Remy. Is that his name?
I got Romy, but we'll go with Remy.
Okay,
That's
Romy.
fine.
And Havzidi.
Yeah.
So they're all sitting on a kitchen table. They've all been sent a script to this movie.
They're all actors.
Yeah.
Or, well,
They're all
at this point I
celebrities.
thought they were actors, yeah.
Yeah, they're all celebrities. And they've all been cast in this movie, and they're all talking about how excited they are to be cast in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Then Hafedzi just falls asleep in his porridge.
yeah,
Was he tricked by the magician?
I think he was hypnotised.
Okay.
I got the impression he'd been hypnotised before because he clicked his fingers and then
Yeah.
he fell asleep in his porridge.
Yeah.
So I feel like...
But we didn't get this. We got the joke, but then we got the setup after the joke.
Yeah.
Which, again, is the fault of the subtitles.
Yes, I think so.
Because if I'm Indonesian, I know this guy is like a Darren Brown type thing when he walks in the door.
Yeah.
Clicks his fingers, the guy falls in his porridge. That's quite funny.
Yes.
I don't know any of that. I've had to work that out
Yeah.
afterwards.
If that's Darren Brown and he does that, or what's Paul McKenna,
Yeah.
he walks into a room and clicks his fingers, somebody falls asleep, that's funny. But it's not funny when you don't know who they are.
Exactly.
This film maybe shouldn't have crossed borders. It's like a funny film for Indonesian people, and it probably should have stayed there.
That's not this film's fault, though.
No, it's Netflix's fault.
Yeah.
Why has Netflix purchased this film? Why is it on Netflix? Anyway, that's the joke, and we get that a lot during this film. There's a lot of like jokes that don't hit because we don't know who these people are.
Yeah, and this is going to be probably my main bugbear is that if I've been intrigued enough, as I am a few times in this movie, to go, that was a joke. I'm aware that was a joke. But I'm going to go and have to go and do a few minutes of research so that I can work out what the joke was.
There's a very
really odd.
There's a very real chance that this film is a lot better in Indonesia than it is anywhere else in the world.
Exactly. Or having a competent dub or subtitles.
Yes.
Or if I spoke Indonesian, to be fair, I could go out and make that effort.
Yeah.
Meet you
That's a
back
big
here in
effort
a few
to watch
years.
a film that's rated at 3.99 IMDb. I have skipped through quite a lot of this early stuff because there's a lot of just character building. So one guy...
So Romy, it cuts to Romy outside, and we see that he gets either a text or a message that he doesn't like on his phone.
Yes.
Because his face goes all like stern.
Stern, he
and
does.
It cuts away.
Then he leaves. And then Dit sends Havzidi out to find out if his ex-girlfriend's going to be in the film as well.
Yeah, he said go and see Sinta. So she's just come back into the country, I think. Basically,
Yeah,
she
been
was
away.
she was an Indonesian TV actress who then left for Hollywood.
Yeah. and it's now
She's
come
back, and Dit's heard that she's back, so he sends Hifedzi, who's basically, how can I say this? I'm just going to say it, the chubby comedic one in this movie, to go and ask Sinta if she's received the script and if she's going to be in Target.
Yes. And it turns out she is. There's a whole scene, but that whole scene is basically just, yes, I am going to be in it.
And that again, that happens a few times. While Hifedzi's over with Sinta, they watch a news story.
Yeah, because it's bottom of the stream. We need a news story.
And my favourite character name, Willie Dozen.
Or Wince, as he's better known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is a famous action movie star or former action movie star.
Yes. Who has kind of stepped away from the action movie game.
He's
recently.
on the news announcing that he's signed up for this movie.
Yes. Because he's been away from movies altogether. Because when an action movie star gives up doing action movies, they don't get cast in anything else.
So the joke here is that he is this butch macho action movie star.
Yeah.
In real life, he's as camp as Christmas.
He's as camp as a row of tents. Then we cut to a guy lifting weights whilst driving a car.
Yeah.
He's also going to be in this movie.
I presume this was like the new up and coming action
I
star.
think
This
so.
is like, I don't know.
The new Willie Dozer.
Yeah.
He's taking Willie's role.
Basically, yeah.
Taking his roles. And he's literally driving whilst taking Willie's role, lifting weights in his car, sorry. He gets cut up by a car. That car's been driven by Dit, and that's when we realise that they're all actually heading towards the film
filming
set. They're
location.
going to be filming now. When they get there, Remy or Romy? Romy.
I've written Romy, but I
think
don't
it
know
is
if it's right.
Romy's performing a magic trick. They're all just basically hanging around outside this massive house.
Yeah, because on the porch is a TV.
Yep.
And written on the TV, it just says, wait for everyone, then come in.
Yeah. So they've all got wait outside.
Yeah.
And that's what they're all doing. They're basically waiting outside. Dit's the last one to turn up after he follows Sam, and then they're all there. So they do head
Sammy,
inside.
this young up and coming action star, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
he arrives and he just scratches Dit's car.
Yeah. Because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And he cut him up on the motor. Right, when they get inside, there is a sign inside that says change and then eat.
Yeah, so there's loads of boiler suits on the table.
So they've all got to get into these boiler suits and then they can have their dinner.
They are white boiler suits. They have a red target on the back.
Absolutely. They eat some food, they chat away. I mean, feels like a strange way to start a filming location. It's like there's no cast. One of them points out that there's no cast or crew there.
Yeah, I quite like one of the conversations around the table though, because I think it's one of the new characters, Gaika.
Yeah,
she's one of the other female actresses in this, and she says as they're sitting there eating dinner, she says, "Oh, Dick, this is like one of your movies. You did a movie like this when everyone was sat around eating, and then people were poisoned and they died. It's like a murder mystery."
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no, I'm in the chair of one of the people who died. I thought, that's quite an interesting sort of thread to pull on.
That
Is
is
it all
quite
part of their, have they all been picked for a reason?
and
It went nowhere. I don't think we knew.
no, but we do know now that the guys
Why
playing
these people
Dick
were
wrote and
picked.
directed this movie.
Yeah.
So it's all meta, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit. So Geeka then pretends to choke
She
and die.
pretends to choke and die, yeah. And everybody freaks out a little bit, but then she wakes up and calls them all idiots. And then they all really do pass out.
Yeah, not before Hifedzi, the comic relief, is going, well, I'm not eating this, it might be poisoned, while stuffing his face
It actually
with,
tastes delicious, I'm going to eat all of it.
with all the food.
And then they do all pass out. And then we cut back to the bandaged man quite quickly.
Yeah, just so we don't forget him, I think.
Don't forget, yeah, they don't really get anything out of him. He's just continuing to tell this story. He says, life wasn't the same ever again.
No.
He's literally only just woken up
Indeed.
after this, the end of this film. They wake up, and I've written here what seems to be an abandoned hospital, and it turned out was an abandoned hospital.
It
I was
was,
quite proud of myself.
and
for that.
the movie is now out for the remaining period where it is set in this abandoned hospital. We now have a green filter.
Yeah, very much like the Saw films.
Yeah.
The Saw
Over
inspiration, it cannot go unmentioned in these. It is very much inspired by Saw. To the point now where a TV comes on in the corner of the room.
Yeah, no, this was a bit. This maybe was one of the low points for me. So before that TV comes on, we just get another few minutes of them all talking about how great it is to be a celebrity.
Yeah, we never go back to that house they were in a minute.
No.
Why they had to meet there and then somehow
Where they
presumably get transported to a hospital. I don't know.
Was it all connected? I don't know.
No. It might have been.
Vast labyrinth of tunnels.
But the TV comes on. The target man, there's a target man. They call him the Games Master for some reason.
I mean, again, very much looks similar in design to the little
Yeah, it's Billy.
tricycle dude from
Basically,
Saw.
Billy. He's even got the spirals on his face. And what this TV character says is that they're making a film. The film's called Target. They have 24 hours to film this movie / play a game, because he says film a movie and play a game. And
Yeah, he says everything's
One way.
recorded. This is
Not
a
really
real
clear.
life movie.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, we've all got collars.
You've all got explosive neck collars on, and then he
Yeah.
gives them a demo of what an explosive neck collar is.
He says if you run, try to escape, or if you run out of time whilst playing any games,
Yeah.
then that shit's going to explode.
Yeah, because that's standard in a film like this now. Neck collars are just like
Yeah.
such a horror movie trope now. One guy, I think his name is Abdo, decides he's going to run at a very clearly locked and chained up door
Yeah.
to try and jump through it.
Yeah, he's going to try and jump through this window, which is like covered in grates.
Covered in grates, chains, wood.
Yeah.
There's no way he's getting through, but he just runs and really hurts himself as he jumps at this door, which it actually did make me laugh, and it shouldn't have.
Hifedzi then picks up a wheelchair,
Yeah,
and he's at least thought about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And he goes to
break down the same
smash
door.
the window.
But then his neck
Gets shocked.
gets shocked by his explosive neck collar,
Yeah.
which takes him down. I've written, this is just cheap Saw. They head up to some stairs. They get told to head upstairs to film the first scene.
Going to the operating room
Yeah,
is the location of the first game.
yeah. The games are not very original, to say the least, in this film.
Also, it's a bit like, we'll get to it, but it's a bit like they kind of could only be bothered to do 3, and by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th one, there's still loads of the movie left, but then the whole concept's like, oh, forget about
it. Yeah, exactly right. But you also should point out that, as I said earlier, this one's a 12.
Yeah.
So there's no violence, no gore, no nothing in this film.
No. But at the same time, it's inappropriate for a 12-year-old.
100%.
The whole concept of what we're doing.
It's a Saw movie with no gore, but even a Saw movie with no gore is inappropriate for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's very strange. In this first game, or the first scenes, they're not called games, they're called scenes. There is one gun with one bullet. Take turns to shoot each other. You have 10 minutes.
Yeah, the guy says this is the tense scene. A good movie needs tension.
Yeah.
So that's what this game is there to provide.
They all just do it. There's no arguing. They just pick up the gun. Sam gets it first. He examines it and he shoots at one of the girls. I think it was Geeka.
Yeah.
It doesn't go off because there's only one bullet in it. Then it basically goes around a few different people, but it culminates with Romy, one of them, gets it, points it at himself and shoots it and kills himself.
Yeah.
Shoots himself straight in the chest. Then the TV comes on and says the first scene is complete. Put the body in a box and move upstairs to scene 2.
Yeah, so they put him in a
We're
box.
not hanging around, so they put him in it's a coffin, is what they put him in. We're not hanging around, we're going straight into scene 2.
We get a quick scene with Cinta giving Hafedzi a pep talk because he's a gibbering wreck.
He gets shocked again, doesn't he? Because he tries to protest, he doesn't want to go upstairs. Yeah. She speaks to him in English, but he doesn't understand her. For some reason, she randomly starts talking English.
She says though, doesn't she? I guess like you say, mirroring her real life. Says I spent time in Germany, Indonesia, and then I moved to Hollywood. So she does partly speak English, partly speak.
Yeah, she does. She speaks English well, to be fair. They head upstairs, and this apparently now is the comedy scene.
We're in a laboratory.
We are in a lab. Every good scene is a comedy scene, apparently. I don't know if that's true, but that's what this movie told me. You have 10 minutes to answer a riddle before the room is filled with gas.
You got 10 minutes as the room is filling with gas.
You've got 10 minutes to get out of the room by answering the riddle.
Take turns answering the riddle.
Stand on a trapdoor to answer the riddle.
Don't get it wrong.
Well, it's obvious what's going to happen when the trapdoor opens, but they don't seem to realise that. They don't seem to realise it's standing on a trapdoor. The riddle is, what kind of fruit has smooth skin? Lots of them would be my answer. The name is spelt Ricis. I have no idea how I'm pronouncing that.
This is the lady who's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
This did make me laugh, but
intentionally.
Well, no, I think maybe down to the translation. But what I got from it is basically she steps onto the trapdoor and gives an answer akin to. So I will remind you again. The riddle is what kind of fruit has smooth skin, and she basically says your dad.
Yeah. She does say exactly that. She says, your dad after putting on lotion.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was just like, I didn't expect that. It just made me laugh.
She didn't expect it, and she didn't expect the trapdoor to open and plunge her 4 stories to her death. Yeah, so that's what happens. Dit then gets on the trapdoor. He also gets...
They say, Dit, you go next. You're a comedian.
Yeah, you should know.
Yeah.
He gets on the trapdoor. He says, watermelon. Watermelon does have smooth skin.
He does.
It's still wrong.
Trapdoor
opens. But he manages to grab the side.
And he's got the reflexes of a cat.
It's almost like he knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
He grabs the side and they all pull him back up and he survives. You never would get away with that in a Saw film. Then... Is it Abdor gets on the...
Yeah, Abdor's the only one. I wasn't quite sure what his day job was.
No, I wasn't quite sure either. I think he was some sort of sportsman, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Don't know. I don't think it ever says. He answers... Dorian.
Yeah.
And that is correct. I was very confused at this point.
I was so confused. I know what a durian is.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a really spiky fruit.
Yeah. Is it the fruit that smells horrible?
I think it might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never tasted one. They're supposed
to
be
really
delicious.
nice.
I did not understand, other than knowing... is the joke that it's the least smooth fruit? What's the...
I googled a durian afterwards. Apparently it's really good for your skin. So
Okay.
there's some sort of
So anti-wrinkle
Yeah.
type.
So I think there's some sort of translation.
So that
issue
kind of
and
makes sense.
I think it should have been which fruit is good for your skin.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a riddle. So there was definitely something lost in the translation there. But I'm not quite sure what it was, and the whole scene didn't make any sense.
No.
Because of it. Because the door just opened, they get away and the door just opens and they move on into the next room.
Yeah.
In the next room, we're done for the day.
Yeah, it's cafeteria.
There's a cafe. There's an open fire, which
It was
seems
quite
dangerous
nice.
in a hospital.
Yeah, but it was quite nice. They grilled some corn.
Yeah, barbecued up some corn.
Oh, I do like a bit of corn on the barbecue.
Do you? I'm not
it's
a
good.
big corn guy.
No, a bit of tinfoil, loads of butter. It's nice.
It's not really for me.
Do the obvious joke: the fat guy eats all the food.
Yeah. There was quite a funny scene that did make me laugh. Havzadi is sitting in the middle of Dit and Sammy.
Yes. And there's a lot of bickering.
There's a lot of bickering going on, and they start fighting. But he's in the middle, and every time they throw a punch or a kick, they hit him instead.
I think it turns out he ends up getting a knife through his hand.
Because Cinta tells them all to stop, and as she throws the knife down as she tells them to stop, and it goes through Havzidi's hand. Basically, this is the end of the first day. So then we get a flashback within the flashback
/ dream.
into / dream for Dit, who is dreaming about the time that him and Cinta broke up.
Yeah, basically they broke up because she was moving to Hollywood and she didn't want to try a long distance relationship.
Yeah, basically. Dit wakes up just as he's about to kiss Havzadi, because kissing the fat guy's funny.
Yeah. Will is awake though.
Willie's always
Old
awake.
Willie. He just garbles on about, you never know, you might be able to get back together.
Yeah,
And then he sings a song about a water buffalo.
He does, sings him a lullaby, and he goes back to sleep. This film's so weird. What we need to do is make sure we don't forget this for next year's Botscars for both batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Next morning, Cinta finds a map of the hospital, which she did do, but then it never got mentioned again and didn't really help anybody.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Didn't really help anybody. Then the really weird scene happens. So Geeka suddenly screams.
She taunts the camera. It's like,
Yeah.
I've had enough of this. You can't make me stay here.
Yeah. And then
that
off
sort of
screen, we hear her scream. And then the next thing we find her is she's dead at the bottom of a lift shaft.
Yeah, I had
Everybody's
to
looking down.
watch this like 3 times
Yeah,
to
same.
make sense of it.
Doesn't make any
It
sense.
just happened off screen.
It all happened off screen. So she's either fallen or been pushed or dropped down
And then
a
all the-
lift shaft.
Yeah, and then all the others
Think
surround Dit because Dit finds
he's
her.
the first one.
And they're like, you did it.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I didn't. And then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's never mentioned again till later on. It's all very strange. And then they get told to gather on the 8th floor. So they've got like 5 flights of stairs to go up because they're only on the 3rd floor yesterday.
Yeah, Cinta and Dit kind of like have a bit of a...
Heart to heart.
Yeah, I did. She sort of says, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't give us enough of a chance. And
There's something gets lost in the translation here as well because she tells him that she broke up with him because she was too scared to lose him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Doesn't make any sense, but hey ho. They hug and then they get called Teletubbies and told to hurry up, which really was like, what?
Then again, not the fault of the movie. Terrible subtitles. I didn't understand this. They are summoned. They meet at this floor, and the games master says, "Please enter the room ahead of you according to the number left."
Yes.
And then they all went separately into a room.
They all went into 6 separate rooms because
Yeah.
there's 6 from left now.
I presume it meant the rooms are numbered 1 to 6,
Go into them.
but they didn't have numbers,
No.
so I didn't.
No,
Again,
it didn't make it.
It
They all
wasn't
went
translated properly.
They all went into a separate room each.
Yeah.
But that isn't what the games master told them to do.
No.
So when they get in their separate rooms, they've all given a gun with 6 bullets in this time and told to kill each other. Basically.
Yeah, and the games master says,
The games master's
By
given
the
up on
way-
games now.
Yeah.
He just wants them to hunt each other down.
by the way, if you don't do it, your family will die
Yeah,
because I have them hostage.
I'm going to explode your neck with your neck collar, and he goes through each of them and tells them which member of
So
their
it's like
family
your
that he's got.
grandma.
Willie's
Brian's
son,
uncle.
Brian, yeah.
Now, at this point, some quite copyright infringing music starts.
Oh, really?
Well, I just thought this was blatant Saw-like music.
Oh, it
for
was,
this
yeah,
game.
100%. It really was. And yet the least Saw-like moment of the film.
Yeah.
Because this... Sinter and Hazadi team up. They decide to run and hide. Dit's still in his room when he first hears a gunshot going off. Wince or Willie
and Dit pair up.
They pair up. Willie thinks that the games master is lying.
Yeah, he says, "I saw my parent.
My parents are in Europe.
Yeah, they got on a plane yesterday.
They're in Europe. I seen them get on the plane yesterday." And also, he feels like the games masters are recording that it isn't live because he's a TV star. He should know that sort of shit. So he's not buying it at all. Havzadi tells Sinter that he loves her out of nowhere, and then he says, "Oh, I just got caught up in the moment. I apologise." Then we cut back to the bandage guy talking to the police, and he says to the police, "Did they really have our families?" And the police were like, "No, nobody's been kidnapped. Everybody's fine."
It was one of his tricks, I think they say.
And then this next scene happens. Sami and Abdur have what I've written here as the worst shootout scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's nothing's right about it. The music's not right. It starts out as like, oh, they're just terrible at shooting, and then I felt like it wasn't a comedy scene at the start.
It was ludicrous. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but by the end of it, it's like, oh, we're going for full-on comedy now for this shootout.
But it wasn't.
It's all by the end. It's almost like the bit of the naked gun where it turns out they're like a foot apart.
Yeah, they're trying to shoot each other, and they're both hiding behind a table. But then they'll both stand up at the same time and shoot each other and completely miss. At one point, Sammy just shoots into the ceiling, and it's like it really took me out of it. I was like, what are these two doing? They're not trying to kill each other. It was really strange. Abdul runs out of bullets first, and then Sammy runs out of bullets, and then they try a dick fight.
Yeah, because Sammy's like, Abdul says, "Why are you just trying to kick me in the dick?" And Sammy's like, "Well, this isn't an action movie. This is a real fight. I'm going for your dick, mate."
Yeah, in a real fight, this is what I would do.
So then this was quite funny, to be fair. There's like a little mini fight sequence where they're just trying to kick each other in the dick.
And then they both kick each other in the dick at the same time. And Abdul goes down, but Sammy's absolutely fine. Yeah. And he's like, "I'm an action star. I can fold it away."
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Okay. And then they have a terrible fight scene. They have like this really badly choreographed, really slow fight scene between the two of them.
Again, there's even a bit where Abdul like does a Matrix crane style kick.
Yeah.
And he actually, again, a bit sort of naked gun / hot shots, flies through the air.
Yeah.
Across the room. But then he just falls in the
falls against and misses it by a mile. Wince and Havzadi have a bit of a standoff. They start pointing their guns at each other. But then the four of them, so with Dit and Sinter as well, decide that they need to team up on Sammy and Abdur.
Yeah. They're like, well, they're the ones we trust each other.
They're shooting. We can hear guns going off in there. They're shooting at each other. We can't trust those two. So we need to hide from them and then try and get them.
Unfortunately, Sammy overhears this.
Yeah.
So he goes back to Abdur and says,
no, it's the other way around. Abdur overheard it and he went back to
Sammy. So he goes back to Sammy and says, right, we need to team up.
Yeah, they're teaming up on us.
They don't trust us.
So we need to team up together. Then Sinter and Dit have a fight scene.
Yeah, because Sinter's like, I'm going after him. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. I'm going to take him out.
Fine. But just as she's about to go and look for him, Abdur comes in and says Sam's building a bomb.
Yeah, he's gone mad.
He's gone mad. He's gone insane. He's
Can I join your gang?
Can I join your gang, please? Sinter doesn't trust him. So they all go off together to try and find where Sam's gone.
And Abdur's proof is that he pulls his sleeve up.
And he's all bruised.
Because he's like pinched all these bruises as part of his ruse. And Willie's like, "Whoa, they just look like hickeys."
It's basically what they were. Wince then nearly gets electrocuted, but then a rat does instead, which was really random.
Yeah.
And then they walk into this room with Abdur, and he's trying to trap them, basically. And they realise they're standing on a grid of rope. And they're like, what? Why are we standing on a grid?
Abdur's going, "Oh, no, you're not on a grid of rope attached to another rope attached to that weight up there that's going to capture you and render you incapacitated." That's actually his line.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's exactly what Wile E. Coyote would say to the Roadrunner. And they do. They get pulled into this rope trap.
Jumps out just in time.
Just before it goes off.
The three gentlemen are trapped.
The three blokes are trapped in a rope trap. Then Sinter and Abdur have a much better fight.
I would say a proper
fight scene.
Yeah, not done for comedic
Yeah,
purposes.
they're all like throwing for each other through tables and stuff.
Also, it cuts back to the guys in the net. clearly actually not caught in anything.
I've
Again,
written
I
that
presume
here.
by design that they could just step out at any point.
Wince is not even in it.
Yeah.
He's just standing next to this bit of rope. It's quite funny. And he's like, I'll break us out. And he breaks them out.
Yeah, he's like, right, enough of this Willie Dozen.
Yeah.
I'm bringing back Wince,
Yeah,
the action hero.
And he's like, I'll break us out of this trap. And he breaks them out of the trap. And
Yeah,
basically,
just
they
like
all just
hulks it out, doesn't
they all just crouch down, and then the ropes fall
Yeah.
down. And it's awful. It looks terrible, but it's very funny.
Then he picks a gun up,
He does pick a
but he's like, "Fuck, I'm an action star. I ain't using this gun." And he just snaps the gun in
literally just pulls this gun in half.
because he's now got super strength. Apparently,
He has, because he then jumps up one entire story of the building upwards onto the next level.
yeah,
And
like
faces
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style.
and faces off with Sam. Sinter and Abdul are still fighting, and then Dit shoots him in the ass.
Yeah, he rounds the corner and shoots him in the butt.
It does. Wince does a 1-inch punch on Sam,
Yeah,
and they fires him across the room with this 1-inch punch, and then they start fighting. It's all kicking off at this
quite
point.
a good fight actually.
There's some good action scenes in there.
Until he puts him in like a big spin.
It's like a giant swing.
Yeah,
Spins him and spins him and spins him around by his legs until he's sick. He actually throws up, which really made me laugh again. Then he punches a metal chair to pieces because Sammy throws a metal chair at him, and he punches that and it falls
he
apart.
puts like a microwave on his head, doesn't he?
He headbutts a gas canister
That's it.
first. Sammy throws a gas canister at him and he headbutts it, and then he smashes a microwave on his own head to show how hard he is. Then Sammy's kind of hanging over the edge of a lift shaft at the end of this fight.
Yeah, Willie can finish him here.
He
can pass the game. Remember, there's a game going
There's
on.
still a game going on. They've still got to all kill each other. But he doesn't. He spares his life.
Sammy apologises, doesn't he?
He's
He's
like, you're
"Oh,
my hero.
the better man." Yeah.
You're the action star I want to be. And he spares his life. And then Wince, the real Willie, comes out. There's a line I've just said. And because he's this really camp guy, and he sees a rat and he screams, and then
He jumps into Sammy's arms.
He does.
But remember, they're still on the edge of this elevator shaft.
and they both fall down the lift shaft and die.
This is like the third death by lift shaft.
It is, yeah. They both fall down the lift shaft and die. Cinta's now decided she's going to go for the games master.
Yeah, she fires a gun at the CCTV. It's like, I'm coming after you.
And realises that he's probably just upstairs. So she runs up one flight of stairs into a room, and there he is.
Is it even labelled like control room?
I think it is, yeah. She finds him just sitting in a chair, watching them all on screens.
So he's in front of this sort of monitoring equipment. Also next to him is a little box, and it just says bomb armed.
Yes. And then when he stands up, the countdown starts on this bomb.
Yeah.
Which is 10 seconds. You've got no time whatsoever. He starts fighting him.
Yeah, he scraps with this guy the games master guy who sits up from his chair.
And then I'm not kidding you, the bomb goes off and it's basically the keyboard of the computer explodes.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. This is the reason that we find out at this point that
I would say the explosion reminded me of, but is worse than something in Thunderbirds.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's literally the size of a computer keyboard and it explodes. We find out at this point that Hafzadi is the bandaged man. I don't know if we knew this before.
Well, it was between him and Willie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty obvious which one it was. But it is Hafzadi. And he's head to toe in bandages from this explosion that we've just seen.
Because he threw himself upon this games master guy, took the blast.
So he finishes, and basically that's the end of his story. He finishes telling the policeman the story. And he then finds out that Dit and Cinta also both survived.
Yeah, they walk in and they were like, we're safe now. Thank you. You saved us.
He basically foiled the whole Games Master's plan. The game has ended. We find out now that the Games Master was Remy.
Yeah. The police reveal this on their phone.
Got a phone picture of him.
They're like, the guy,
the magician guy.
We hauled that body out, and it's
him.
It's Remy.
So we find out that he faked his own death when he shot himself in the chest earlier in the film,
and then he went and put the mask on,
and became the Games Master.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a twist. It's okay. I
yeah,
guess. It's
but
fine.
I've checked and I've seen there's still 15 minutes
left. 10 minutes of this film left.
Yeah.
The police leave, and then we go 1 month later. So we've got some stuff to clear up. Dit drops Hafzadi off at an airport. He's got a burned up face.
Yeah, I mean, that keyboard must have
really made a mess of him.
Right on his face.
It really did.
Because,
But he's going...
Looks like Elon Musk.
We don't know where he's going, but he's going somewhere. Dit and Sinta have got back together and they go on a chat show to talk about themselves getting back together.
Sure,
Can
Abdul's
remember.
written a book. We never actually see him, but it is mentioned.
He's mentioned that he's
written a book about the experience.
So actually 4 people survived.
Yeah.
And then after they've been on this TV show, the TV show executive guy, I guess, takes Dit into a room.
Yeah, I think so. It's some sort of agent or...
Yeah.
Mr. Broto.
Takes him into a office and says, we've received this. It's a thumbstick.
Yeah.
And it's got Target on it.
Call it a dongle.
A dongle?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a dongle. It's got Target on it. It's the film that you were filming.
Yeah,
it's been made
edited.
into a film. Somebody's edited it into a film, and it's been sent out to all the major TV networks.
And then again, we cut back to Sinta, who's back on her film set.
Yeah.
And again, this must have been down to the subtitles because a lady turns up.
Yeah.
And they're talking to each other like they know each other. And I feel I'm supposed to know who this woman is.
Yeah.
I don't know who this woman is.
Same. I rewound the scene 3 times to try and figure out who this woman was.
And then it's not till the next scene where I realise this woman is Romy's wife.
Yeah.
And she was the relative of his who had been hostaged by the games master.
Yes. But she had actually been hostage.
Yeah.
Because that's what he'd seen at the beginning of the film on his phone.
Yes.
Okay. I assume she's somebody
again,
famous in America.
I'm kind of having to work
Indonesia.
that out.
Yeah.
After it's shown to me on the screen.
I'm assuming
I
she's
don't have that knowledge.
also a famous celebrity in Indonesia.
Yeah.
That we should have recognised. She reveals that everybody now thinks that she was involved as well, and she assures everybody that she wasn't.
Yeah. I didn't know what my husband was doing.
All that time this was going on, I was tied up, and then when the timer expired, it just unlocked and I left. I was just able to go. Then we go back to the TV executive who's talking to Dit. So these 2 scenes are kind of going on at the same time. The TV executive's talking to Dit, and they found a script in their archives.
Well, he says, this movie reminded me of something.
Yeah.
And he said, I couldn't think of what it was. And then he drops this script down on the desk, and it is Target.
Yeah.
But it's from July of 1980.
Yeah, this guy's got a really good memory of scripts he read 42 years ago.
He says, this is a script that I remember being flogged around town.
Yeah. Nobody wanted it.
No one bought it.
Because there's too many deaths in it.
Yeah.
And eventually, the guy who wrote it set himself on fire.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't sell his movie, and he was that
He really
passionate
believed
about
in it. No one bought it. He set himself on fire.
Yes. We found out at this point as well that the electric collars... Well, Remy's wife tells Sinta that the electroshock collars didn't work. They were not active.
Yeah.
But Sinta's like, well, I've seen Hafsidi got electrocuted twice. But when Geeka ran away, she didn't get electrocuted. And then she's like, oh, Hafsidi must have been in on it.
Yeah.
While she's having that revelation that Hafsidi was in on it at the same time, Dit remembers Hafsidi's surname.
Yes.
Which was the same surname as the guy who wrote this script that we'd found. And
Correct.
he also has the revelation at the same time that Hafsidi must have been involved in this as well as Remy.
Sure.
So we're getting another twist.
So Sinta and Dit then both arrive exactly the same time at Hafsidi's house.
Yep. It turns out he was the one doing the whole thing. He had set up Remy to take the fall for him because he'd got his wife.
Yeah.
And he was also the one that pushed Gika down the lift shaft. And he was basically just trying to make his father's movie.
He got Romy to sit down and play the role of the games master. When he sat down on the chair, that armed the bomb. So as soon as he stood up, the bomb went off later in the movie.
Yep.
We get a cut back to Hafsidi saying to Romy, I don't know if I will live through this, but it will make us stars.
Yeah.
Turns out he did live through it. He was the mastermind behind it all. He was completing his father's work.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to him escaping on the plane.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. He's asleep on the plane and the film ends.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I have no idea.
Same.
I still have no idea. I think it's really difficult to assess because we just got a terrible subtitle. We got a terrible effort at subtitles.
Like I said earlier, it's probably a really good film in Indonesia.
I think it's a fine film.
Yeah. But if this
it's not my sort of humour, but I can see what they're going for.
The humour's terrible. It's definitely not my sort of humour. It isn't a good film. There's nothing good about it. The story's terrible.
Because it's
the twist's neat. I'll give them that.
But it's nothing you've not seen before. But the comedy, we don't get the comedy because of sort of these translational issues. But also, we also don't get any gore or horror because it's a
12.
Rated far younger.
Yeah.
Having said all that, I didn't not like it. You know, it didn't drag. Look, this is nothing special. Don't get. I'm not.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It was fine, but I'm gonna struggle to say anything like passionately to say. I'm definitely not gonna say go and watch it.
No, definitely not. I didn't.
I'm kind of glad I watched it because it's weird. Because it's
so weird.
Because I'm really fascinated how this sort of thing lands on Netflix.
Yeah.
Plus, how does it land in this state with a terrible set of subtitles, which almost make it unwatchable?
Yeah. The subtitles are terrible.
Because I've had to go and sort of work out as I'm going along what's
yeah.
happening
Yeah.
and the jokes. And that fascinates me. And that's, I think, why I'm saying I did not enjoy it. Because it was almost like a bit of detective work just keeping up with this movie.
Yeah. If this is an English movie with English B-list celebrities in, it's probably a lot more entertaining to us than this movie is. But at the same time, nothing's really happening with these celebrities that's entertaining.
No.
So you're only watching it for the novelty factor of, it's a film with loads of people I know in it.
Yeah.
The story's not good. The action isn't good.
And it bails out.
Some of the characters are really annoying.
Yeah, they are.
It bails itself out of its premise really quickly. There's only 2 games with the
and then it all breaks down in the third.
There's 3 games, and one of them is shoot somebody,
yeah,
and the other one is answer a riddle that doesn't make any sense, and then the last one is just hunt each other down.
But one of the reasons I love
hold up to
not
any
at
sort
all
of scrutiny.
I completely agree. But one of the reasons I love doing the show is because I have now watched this, which you just never would in a million years.
No, not in a million years.
And the fact
and don't go out and watch it.
No,
just listen to this and let us talk about it.
But the fact I've got an Indonesian probably TV movie with someone's done a half-assed job of trying to translate and do these subtitles. I just absolutely fascinates me that it lands in this state
on Netflix.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all to find out that the subtitles are auto-generated from Google Translate or something.
No, I think you
it
you
doesn't
could be right.
It doesn't make some of the words that are used are not right. Like when he says at the beginning, it all started with a scenario.
Yeah.
What? It doesn't make any sense. I'm never going to watch it again. I'm never probably going to. Well, I'm going to think about it again because we're going to have to compare everything that's coming up to it for the next few weeks.
Did you feel you wasted your time?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, a little bit.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm not quite sure.
I can't say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I just can't.
I think it was just the whole experience was just so strange for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what's
there's that side to it, but as a film, it's
which
not.
is actually nothing to do with how good the film
No,
is.
it's not at all. It's not at all.
And it isn't a good film. So
if you had to put it into last season's stream table, which we won't do, but it goes bottom 7, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's right down there. And I'm sure that's where it'll end up in this one. Hopefully that's where it'll end up in this one. But yeah, what's the best thing about it?
I like the idea.
The concept's great.
Yeah.
You remake this in English or American, you could have a good time with it. With casting it for definite. What would you change about it? The subtitles need to be better.
Okay, yeah. So there's a couple of levels here, isn't there? If you want an international audience to see this, do a proper job with the subtitles.
Yeah. I still don't think it really works because you don't know who these people are.
Well, yes, and it's humour via subtitles is always difficult.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. If we're talking, forget about all those issues. Then you need to restructure this film, and I think you need more comedy. You can go more slapstick, more stupid, or give us a bit of the gore.
Yeah,
because you're doing Saw.
Yeah, you're doing Saw for a kid, for 12-year-olds.
Right, yeah.
You've got to go one way or the other. You've got to be really silly with it.
But you still see a knife through a hand and people falling down a lift shaft. So
I wouldn't show I haven't got a 12-year-old, but I wouldn't show him if I did.
I wouldn't either.
So, but somebody in the UK said that. Ofcom have given it a 12. Yeah. We're obviously not going to put it in the stream table, but it's bottom and top currently.
Okay, yeah.
We'll just wait to see how
it
goes throughout the season.
Curio, this movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's one of those ones where you're like, how does this exist? Why doesn't this just exist in Indonesia? And how has it ended up on British Netflix?
Yeah.
It is really weird. I assume it's come as a package with some other stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's good Indonesian movies.
Sure.
I'm sure it's probably just come that Netflix.
And there's definitely an audience for this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not.
Netflix have probably just brought a job lot of Indonesian movies, and this is how it's worked out. That's just appeared for that
Yeah.
reason. All that being said, we are ready to pick next week's film.
Sure am.
We've not missed anything, have I?
Don't
think so. What are you hoping to get from episode 2 of Bottom of the Stream season 7?
Like the stream table, I'm quite an open book, so I don't really mind what we get.
It doesn't really matter at this stage of the season, does it? So, should we just let Robin do his thing?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we should mention to the patrons that your wildcards have reopened.
Yes, so just a quick shout out. Our top level patrons, as part of their reward, get a wild card each season. That means for 1 week, you can choose the movie that we watch.
Yep. We couldn't have 3 top level patrons plus me and Nick, so 5 of the movies this season will be wildcard picks.
Yeah.
If you want to become one, we could happily extend that to you.
Of course,
I'll give you all the details at the end of the episode. I'm going to press Robin's button.
Do it.
Are you ready? It has picked a film called All at Sea. Any ideas?
I know because we did review the long list the other week. I know Brian Cox is in it. I think it's some kind of rural. I don't want to say rom, but it's definitely a com.
Aurora.com.
I presume a British movie.
Yes, it is. I believe it is a British movie. It's got a different title in America.
Oh, lovely.
In America, it's called White Blue Yonder.
Oh, okay.
But in the UK and Canada, it's called All at Sea. It has got Brian Cox in it. You are correct. Do you want to know who else is in it?
Yes, please.
Lauren Bacall.
Oh, really?
How random
Wow.
is
I mean, I'm thinking possibly a case for the most legendary person we've ever had on this
that?
show.
Yeah, probably. She never got an Oscar. She has no Oscar.
But she's an all-time Hollywood
she's
star.
an all-time.
Okay,
Do you
cool.
want the synopsis?
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
It says a black comedy about an old rogue named Wally who breaks all the rules to fulfill an old friend's dying wish to be buried at sea.
Fine. let's give it a go.
Currently rated at 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. So yeah, let's go and watch that, shall we?
Trying to get over the fact that this show is doing a movie with Lauren Bacall in it.
Who would have thought that would have ever happened? And a second film for Brian Cox on the stream.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's fine. He's done a lot of shit.
If you want to talk film. Loosely. So go and watch All at Sea. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd, the same username at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, you can do that. Our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. And if you want to visit our website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded, all 6 season stream tables, loads of other cool stuff. And if you want buy some merch, you can even do that if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
bookmark.
I'll just make you a Bottom of the Stream bookmark if you want.
I think I could do that. I just
Yeah, it's probably available. So you can get some merch if you head over to the website. After you've done all that, head over to patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you will get a wild card, which we just mentioned, which means that we can give Robin the week off and you can pick the film that we watch that particular week. After you've done all of that, head over to Discord. We've got a thriving Discord community now of people that are always willing to chat, play games, and have some fun. We've got some more watch-alongs coming up, I think.
We sure have
some ideas in there for people, what people want to watch with us. And we'll do all of that. And then that's my bit done, I think.
That's fine. If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review and a rating anywhere you can review and rate podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, Spotify, Cephalopod, any of those places. We're on all of them. It really helps us build our community, puts our podcast in front of more eyes and in more ears. Thank you very much.
Well done. It feels like you haven't done that for a while, but you did really well. So yeah, do all that. Just tell some friends, tell your mum, tell anybody to just come and listen to us. Just listen
My
to
mum
us.
doesn't listen.
Nor does mine.
That's fine. You tell yours. That's in you.
I'll tell
yours.
you. I'll tell yours. You tell mine.
Okay, fine.
And everybody just tell somebody to listen to us and we'll get these numbers right up. It'll be great. We're going to have a fun season. We're right at the peak of a fun season. Not peak.
Start.
Precipice.
Precipice. It could be, yeah. It'll be a fucking precipice.
We're at the precipice of a fun new season.
But
so
that is the fun of being randomised.
Absolutely. You never know what's coming. We've
And I just want to say,
Go on.
there has been so much, and I'm sure this goes for a lot of streaming services, but there's been so much in the news the last few weeks about Netflix getting rid of stuff and how it's not good value for money and there's nothing there. There is so much there.
There is.
There is so much good. There is so much bad. And it's really fun to try and scrape this stuff off the bottom of the screen.
It really is. We've done 151 films now. We've got that means we've got 6
still not completed it, mate.
No, nowhere near. But that means we've got 6 top 10s. So there's at least 60 good films there. And we've also got six bottom 15s. So there's at least, however many that is, 90 terrible films out there. So there's always something to watch on Netflix. So just go out and find something. Go and watch All at Sea. This is the only show where you can get to watch an Indonesian rip-off of Saw, and then the next week Lauren Bacall's in a film.
Well, that's a great sell job. You're right.
It doesn't happen anywhere else.
And do you know what? Well, we'll see. We'll find out next week. But there's a fair chance we might prefer the Indonesian Saw rip-off to the Lauren Bacall film.
More than likely, I would say. Probably going to happen. But we'll see. So, yeah, we're going to go and watch All at Sea. And then we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday to do an episode on All at Sea.
Cheers.
Bye.